behind Voyages to Antiquity, I think, are very experienced in cruising. We've been involved in cruising now since the 80s. This is our fourth cruise line. Our first cruise line was Ocean Cruise Lines and Pearl Cruises in the 80s, then Orient Lines in the 90s, Discovery Cruises in the new millennium, and now the fourth cruise line, Voyages to Antiquity, in this decade. I think the thing we had in common with all these cruise lines is that we focused on destinations. Our first two seasons have basically just focused on the Mediterranean and the classical civilizations of the Mediterranean. The season in the Mediterranean is limited by the weather, so in most of the Mediterranean areas we just go there from March through to November. The idea was during the winter months to focus on North Africa and Syria, Libya, Egypt and the Red Sea. We all know what has happened to those areas just recently, so we've had to change our plans. Our experience with our previous cruise lines has meant that we know the Far East pretty well. And we looked at that. We've looked at that for over a year now to decide whether we can extend our type of cruising into the Far East. We've decided we can. So our area of operation in the Far East will be India and Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia will be Singapore, Bangkok, Hong Kong, then further south to the Philippines, down to Bali, then back up again to Singapore and Bangkok. So it's a circle of the South China Sea. The duration varies depending on where we go, but they're generally of 10 to 14 nights cruise lengths. Then you add on to that pre and post cruise stays, which are either 2 or 3 nights in pre or post cruise stay hotels. So overall, 2 to 3 weeks. I think one of the strengths of the programme is that you can combine itineraries so that you can have itineraries of 24 to 28 to 30 days duration. And they're operated at a time of year when many people like to have longer vacations away from the winter of the UK. For the Far East, we've included pre and post cruise stays on virtually every cruise, and that's important so that we can get the benefit of the experience in some of the vibrant cities that are there in the Far East. But also in, for example, India, some of the most important sites are inland, and it's difficult to see that from shore excursions. So the Indian cruise, we start with a 5-night Golden Triangle package with Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, and we all know the importance of those cities. So we include that. From the included post-cruise stay in Bangkok, we offer a 2-day included air excursion to the sites of Angkor Wat, which again is something that people will want to go and see. We go to Yangon 3 times during the course of our programme, and we're able, with the size of the ship, to actually cruise up the river into the heart of Yangon, so we don't have to drive 1.5 hours from the international terminal into Yangon. There are many highlights, but I think I've already mentioned a couple of them, and that's the Golden Triangle land stay for India, the Angkor Wat excursion from Bangkok. But you have other highlights within the itinerary, such as the full-day excursion to Borobudur, the overland full-day excursion to Phnom Penh from Sihanoukville. We have a full-day excursion to Hanoi from Halong Bay, and even the half-day cruise around Halong Bay itself is a highlight. The big thing to remember is it offers tremendous value for money. Our cruises all include sightseeing, gratuities, pre and post cruise stays, including these expensive overland excursions. Plus we have wine with evening meals on board. So really there's very little else that needs to be paid for. We're delighted to be returning to the Orient and hope that this new brochure will encourage new visitors to this part of the world. And also, for those who've been fortunate enough to have been before, to go back. We hope you feel the same after reading this brochure. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you want more information.